Hi guys, it's Michelle from How to Lead a Minimalism Lifestyle. Today, the element of minimalism I'm going to discuss about is on nutrition or daily diets, a very important factor on how we should lead a healthy lifestyle. Of course, I'm not a trained or certified nutritionist to tell you what we should eat and we should avoid, but rather it's a sharing session of the knowledge I have gained along the way and how I have practiced these principles when it comes to nutrition or the cooking methodologies for my family. Principle number one, I would tend to eat natural. The rule of thumb is from plants to plates. So I would try to minimize the step in between from plucking the plants up from the ground to putting them on the plates. But not all vegetables are meant to eat raw, right? So we have to add in the cooking elements. But different cooking methods will decide different qualities of the food when it's done. And for example, double boiling vegetable will be better than boiling, and boiling vegetable will be better than stir fried. But we can't eat double boiling vegetables every meal because it would be boring. So I think we should just be mindful on the number of times we have it in a healthy way and the number of times that we think that we pick taste over health. But to be honest, if your daily meals already have vegetable as one of the key ingredients, it's good enough. And for all of us who are Vietnamese, having the soup vegetable base as a main dish is already a tradition, and I really think we all should reserve it as it do a lot of good to our body health. So principle number two, eat the right amount. It depends on our size, right, in terms of weight and height, and depends on our plan whether we want to remain the same weight or we want to gain or lose this weight. That we make the right decision of how much we should eat on a daily basis. But generally, we should only eat up to 70% of our stomach capacity because it helps with the digestion. And two, it helps to avoid fat accumulated in our body, which is very hard to shed away. For those of you who want to gain or lose weight, you have to be keeping track of your calories intake versus the calories burned on a daily basis. So if your calories intake is more than the number of calories you can burn a day, you will put on weight. Now there's a lot of tools available on the internet that can tell you how much is the estimate calories for certain portions of food and dishes. So if you have a plan to shed off some weight, you should be more details in how you keep track of your daily eating. But generally, let's avoid over it because the consequences are more harmful than good to our bodies. Principle number three, choose the right protein source. I would assume many of us here are meat eaters, so there's a rule of thumb that we should choose the protein source coming from animals with as few legs as possible. For example, protein from four-legged animals like pig, cow, sheep are not as good as animals that has two legs like chicken. And chicken meat is not as good as animals that have zero legs like eggs or fishes. So since knowing this rule, it's easier for me to pick the good source of protein on a daily basis. There are many nutrients ideologists in the world, but they actually translate to the same thing. The reason behind why four-legged animals protein is not as good is because it's regarded as red meat, and red meat takes us a long time to digest, up to 3 to 4 hours, and over consuming of red meat actually exposes us to cancer, to strokes or heart diseases. So let's be mindful, right, in choosing the right source of protein. If you are vegetarian, of course, your protein source will be mainly plant-based, but it doesn't mean it's just tofu or soybeans. There are many more choices that we should learn and pick it up the right way. And of course, to be a fully functional person, having vegetarian on a long-term basis, we should have our knowledge brushed off so that we can pick a good combinations of different ingredients to make sure that we are not lacking of any nutrition. The fourth principle is that what is frequently consumed actually has a big impact on our body. So the frequency of consuming something is of very high criticality in how it impacts our health, even though it's just a small dose. So understanding this, I have changed the behavior of our family eating habits. In the past, when I was still living with my in-laws, every morning grandparents will help to take care of the kids' breakfast. And then when my husband and I drop the kids off at their school, we will go for breakfast outside. We did that for 2 years. And usually it's a hot bowl of soup, right? A Vietnamese tradition. But now thinking back, I think it's a very bad habit because I don't know how much chemicals I have added up inside my body. So since moving out and we have to change our daily routines, I try to break away from this, eating habit. Now I usually bake bread with wholemeal flour, and we have a mild breakfast. We don't consume too much early in the morning, but enough to get the days going. Also, another things that we consume on a daily basis that is very critical to our body's health, it is water. And our body generally is pretty acidic because a lot of the food we consume, including red meat, is actually acidic. And acidic is the best environment for cancerous tissues to grow. So since knowing about this, I have actually invested in buying a water filter machine that actually gives higher pH level water, which is more alkaline. So by consuming this type of water, you help to neutralize your acidic body. So it makes the body less favorable for cancerous tissues to grow. Of course, it doesn't help to eliminate cancerous tissues altogether, but I think it helps, right? But if we are doing it on a daily basis, like what I have just shared. So with food delivery being more popular, especially during pandemic time, we tend to eat out more often or ordering, right? Foods that are actually prepared by other people. And over time, these habits will bring about negative impacts on our health, I believe. So my advice is to change this habit. Eat in more often, which means you have to cook the food by yourself, but that translates to you have the control. After instill this habit, right, where you eat out max 1 or 2 meals per week, then it's time for you to decide on which ingredients to choose for your cooking. So just make the wise choices. I hope that with my sharing today, we all over time will consume less. Intermittent fasting may be a good choice for us too, and stay healthy. Thank you.